Japan, a land of breathtaking beauty. Cherry blossoms drifting on the wind. Ancient temples nestled among misty mountains. A culture built on honor, discipline, and deep reverence for the spirits of nature. But there is another Japan, a Japan that exists in the shadows between the lanterns, in the spaces between heartbeats, in the moments when you glance over your shoulder and feel something watching. This is the Japan of vengeful ghosts and forgotten gods, of demons born from human suffering, of spirits so ancient and so powerful that their names are still whispered in fear thousands of years later. The Japanese did not just believe in gods and demons. They lived alongside them. Every creaking floorboard could be a yokai. Every sudden illness could be a curse. Every storm could be a dying god screaming his last breath into the wind. Some of these beings were worshipped. Some were appeased with offerings and desperate prayers. And some could never be stopped, only endured. Welcome to Age of Titans. Today, we descend into the darkest corners of Japanese mythology. We are counting down the 10 most terrifying gods and demons of Japan. This is not the Japan of postcards and travel brochures. This is the Japan of nightmares. Let's begin. Number 10. Shuten-doji, the demon king of Mount Oi. Long before the samurai rose to power, before Kyoto became the imperial capital, a nightmare walked the mountains of Japan. His name was Shuten-doji, the demon king, the drunken boy. He was not born a demon. Some legends say he was once a beautiful orphan boy, abandoned at a temple. Others say he was the son of a dragon god and a human woman, cursed from birth. What every version agrees on is this: he was not human, and humanity was his prey. Shuten-doji made his lair on Mount Oi, north of Kyoto. There, he gathered an army of oni, ogre-like demons with red and blue skin, horns, and an insatiable hunger for human flesh. From this mountain fortress, he terrorized the region for years. His demons raided villages. They stole women. They dragged their victims back to the mountain and feasted on them in dark caverns lit only by firelight and the glow of their own eyes. The Demon King himself was a figure of terrifying charisma. He was said to be enormous, with wild red hair, horns sprouting from his forehead, and the strength of 100 men. But he was also intelligent, cunning. He could speak like a nobleman when he chose to, luring his victims into a false sense of security before revealing his true nature. He loved sake above all things. His name, Shuten-doji, literally means the sake drinking boy. He drank constantly, even during battle. The stronger the sake, the more dangerous he became. The terror became so great that the emperor himself demanded action. The legendary warrior Minamoto no Yorimitsu, also known as Reiko, was dispatched to destroy the demon. Reiko and his 4 elite retainers disguised themselves as traveling monks. They climbed Mount Oi and asked for shelter. Shuten-doji, amused by their boldness, invited them in. That night, the Demon King drank himself into a stupor. Reiko served him poisoned sake, a gift from the gods themselves. As Shuten-doji collapsed, his true form was revealed, a monstrous giant, chained to his bed to prevent his rampages. Reiko drew his sword and struck. The head of the Demon King flew from his body. But even decapitated, Shuten-doji was not finished. His severed head lunged at Reiko, jaws snapping, trying to crush the warrior's skull. Reiko barely dodged. It took all his strength and the protection of sacred talismans to finally destroy the beast. The Demon King of Mount Oi was dead. His Oni army scattered. The mountain was cleansed. But here is the chilling detail. Shuten-doji's body was buried on the mountain. His head was taken to Kyoto and stored in a temple. For centuries, people claimed the head was still alive, that it whispered, that it moved, that it was waiting. To this day, shrines across Japan perform rituals to keep the spirit of the Demon King at rest. Because everyone knows, he never truly left. Number 9. Kappa, the child drowning demon. Not all demons are giants. Not all monsters announce themselves with fire and fury. Some of the most terrifying creatures are small enough to go unnoticed. The kappa is a water demon. It lives in rivers, ponds, and lakes across Japan. It appears roughly humanoid, the size of a child, with scaly green or blue skin, a turtle-like shell, and a beak. On the top of its head is a dish-like depression filled with water. This water is the source of the kappa's power. The kappa is a creature of contradictions. It is obsessively polite. If you bow to a kappa, it will bow back, and the water will spill from its head. Without the water, the kappa collapses, helpless, until the dish is refilled. But do not mistake this weakness for harmlessness. The kappa is a predator. It drags children and unsuspecting swimmers into the water and drowns them. It feeds on human flesh and blood. It has a particular taste for the liver, and its preferred method of extraction involves reaching up through the victim's anus and pulling the organ out. This is not mythology exaggerated over time. This is what the ancient texts describe in vivid, horrifying detail. The shirikodama, the mythical ball said to contain the human soul, located inside the anus, was the kappa's favorite meal. It also loved cucumbers. To this day, cucumber sushi rolls are sometimes called kappamaki, kappa rolls. Families would throw cucumbers into rivers before swimming, hoping the demon would eat the offering and spare their children. Signs were posted near dangerous waters. Warnings passed down through generations. Never swim alone. Never swim at dusk. Never trust the water, no matter how calm it looks. Because the kappa is patient. The kappa is always watching. And sometimes, even now, in remote villages, children are told to stay away from the river's edge, just in case. Number 8. Onryo, the vengeful ghosts that curse the living. There are no scarier monsters in Japanese folklore than the vengeful spirits of the dead. Onryo, the word itself, is a wound. It means a ghost consumed by such rage, such sorrow, such injustice that death itself cannot contain it. When a person dies with powerful negative emotions, betrayal, jealousy, hatred, their spirit can linger. But the Onryo does not simply haunt. The Onryo destroys. It returns to the world of the living to exact revenge. Not justice. Revenge. Blind, all-consuming, and without mercy. The Onryo appears as a pale woman in a white burial kimono. Her hair is long, black, and unkempt, hanging over her face. She floats rather than walks. Her hands hang limply at her sides. And when she reveals her face, there's only hatred. She targets those who wronged her in life. But her curse does not stop there. It spreads like a disease. It clings to a place, a family, a bloodline. Generations can suffer for the sins of one ancestor who created an Onryo. The most famous Onryo in Japanese history is Oiwa. Her story is too long to tell here, but know this. Her husband betrayed her, poisoned her, and disfigured her face. She died in agony. She returned. She drove him mad. She destroyed everything he loved. To this day, people visit her grave and leave offerings, begging her to let the grudge go. The Onryo is terrifying not because it is a demon, but because it was once human, and the line between human grief and demonic rage is thinner than any of us want to believe. Number 7. Ymuba, the mountain witch who eats the lost. The mountains of Japan are sacred. They are also dangerous. Avalanches, landslides, freezing cold, and paths that vanish in the mist. But the locals knew that the natural dangers were not the only ones. Something else lived in the mountains. Yamauba, the mountain witch. By day, she appears as a kind old woman. She offers shelter to weary travelers. She invites them in her hut, feeds them warm soup, lets them rest by the fire. And then, when they are asleep, she transforms. Her true form is a hideous crone with wild white hair, sharp claws, and a mouth that splits her face. She devours her guests, every last piece. But the Yamauba does not only eat humans. She can also grant power. Some legends say she can bestow magical abilities, knowledge of herbs and poisons, even control over the elements. She is a creature of the wilderness, wild and untamed. both destroyer and creator. She is the mountain itself, given flesh. She has appeared in countless stories, plays, and even modern anime. The Yamayuba is an archetype, the dangerous old woman, the witch in the woods, the darkness behind the friendly smile. And if you ever find yourself lost in the Japanese mountains, and you see a hut with a warm light in the window, be careful who you trust. Number 6. Juragumo, the spider woman who wears human skin. Spiders are already nightmare fuel. Now imagine a spider that can become a woman. The Juragumo is a yokai of terrifying intelligence. By day, she is a breathtakingly beautiful woman. She sits near rivers, waterfalls, or bridges, playing a shamisen or singing softly. Men see her, men approach her, and men never return. When the victim is close enough, she reveals her true nature. She is a giant spider. Her lower body is a bloated arachnid abdomen. Her legs are long, jointed, and razor-sharp. She wraps her prey in silk, injects them with venom that liquefies their insides, and drinks them like soup. Sometimes she does not kill immediately. Sometimes she keeps her victims alive, hanging in her web, slowly draining their life force over days or weeks. The most horrifying version of a legend involves the Juragumo controlling an entire family of smaller spiders. They infest a house. They eat the real family. Then they take their place, wearing their faces, living their lives, waiting for the next victim to wander in. There are places in Japan where locals still warn travelers not to stop near certain waterfalls, because the beautiful woman playing music might not be a woman at all. Number 5. Gashidakuro, the starving skeleton maid of the unburied dead. There is a sound, a low, rattling, grinding noise, like 1,000 dice being shaken in a giant's palm. Then the ground begins to shake, and then it rises. The Gashidakuro is a gigantic skeleton, 15 to 20 meters tall, made from the bones of people who died in war, famine, or plague and were never buried. The unquiet dead, the forgotten, their resentment pools together. Their bones merge, and the Gashidakuro is born. It wanders the countryside at night. It is invisible, but you can hear it, the grinding of bones, the chattering of teeth, and then it strikes. It reaches down, grabs its victim, and crushes them. Then it adds their bones to its body. The Gashidakuro cannot be killed. It cannot be reasoned with. It does not even have a mind in the traditional sense. It is pure hunger, pureraje, the collective agony of thousands of forgotten souls. The only warning is the sound. If you are alone at night on a dark road and you hear a rattling in the distance, run, but it won't help. The Gashidakuro is patient, and it is always hungry. Number 4. Hashiheim, the bridge princess who became a demon of jealousy. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Japan took this truth and turned it into a monster. Hashiheim, the bridge princess, once a beautiful noblewoman, then a betrayed wife. Her husband took a younger, more beautiful second wife. Hashiheim's jealousy consumed her. She prayed to the gods, not for her husband's return, but for the power to become a demon, a living oni, a creature that could destroy the woman who had stolen her life. She isolated herself for 21 days. She bathed in the river. She chanted curses. She painted her face with red makeup and wore red robes. She placed an iron trivet on her head and lit candles on each of its 3 legs. The ritual transformed her. She became an oni, a demon of pure, undiluted jealousy. Her husband and his new wife died screaming. And Hashiheim became something more than a single ghost. She became the patron demon of jealous women everywhere. She haunts bridges, particularly the Uji Bridge in Kyoto. Anyone who crosses while thinking envious thoughts risks her attention. She whispers. She poisons. She destroys. In one famous no play, a priest prays for the Hashiheim soul, and for a moment, she is freed. For a moment. But jealousy is eternal, and Hashiheim still waits. Number 3. Obake no Mikoshi, the corpse eater of the temples. This is a creature so disturbing that many Japanese texts refuse to describe it fully. Mikoshi, the corpse eater, a demon that feeds exclusively on the dead. He appears as an emaciated old man with a skull grotesquely elongated, wrinkled gray skin stretched tight over his bones, and eyes that glow like dying embers. His hands are claws. His mouth is a wound, and he is always hungry. He lives near temples and graveyards. He digs up fresh corpses. He devours them. But his hunger is not physical alone. He consumes the memories, the identity, the soul. Victims are erased from existence. In some versions, Mikashi is a punishment for wicked priests who exploited their position. In others, he is an ancient curse that predates Buddhism itself, something older, something primordial. The Japanese word Mikashi also refers to the portable shrines carried during festivals. The contrast is deliberate. The sacred and the profane, the divine and the demonic. They are two sides of the same coin. And sometimes in the dead of night, something old and hungry scrapes at the temple door. Number 2. Kuchisake-onna, the slit-mouthed woman. Some demons are ancient. Some are born yesterday. Kuchisake-onna is a modern urban legend, but her roots go deep into the same soil that grew all the yokai before her. She appears as a beautiful woman wearing a surgical mask, a common sight in Japan. She approaches her victim, often a child or a lone man, and asks a simple question. Am I beautiful? If you say yes, she removes the mask. Her mouth is slashed from ear to ear, a Glasgow smile carved into her face with surgical precision, blood and muscle visible inside the wound. Am I beautiful now? If you say no, she kills you immediately. If you say yes, she cuts your mouth to match hers. If you try to run, she catches you. She is inhumanly fast. There is no right answer. In some versions, you can confuse her by throwing money or candy. In others, you can ask her if she thinks you are beautiful, and she will hesitate long enough for you to escape. But the most terrifying detail is this. Kuchisake-onna is not ancient mythology. She emerged in the 1970s. Reports spread across Japan. Schools sent children home in groups for protection. Police patrol neighborhoods. A modern demon, a yokai of the atomic age. The slit-mouthed woman proves that the darkness does not go away. It just changes shape. Number 1. Susanoo, the storm god who destroyed heaven. And now, number 1. Not a demon, not a ghost, a god. Susanoo, the god of the sea, the god of storms, the god of chaos. He was born from the nose of Izanagi, the creator god. His siblings were Amaterasu, the sun goddess, and Tsukuyomi, the moon god. And from the very beginning, Susanoo was trouble. He was wild, uncontrollable. He did not bow to the celestial order. He wanted to see his mother, Izanami, who had died and descended into Yomi, the underworld. But before he left, he decided to say goodbye to his sister, Amaterasu. The farewell was catastrophic. Susanoo rampaged through the heavenly realm. He destroyed Amaterasu's rice fields. He threw a flayed horse into her sacred weaving hall, killing one of her attendants. He defiled the temples. He screamed and raged and shattered the peace of the divine court. Amaterasu was so horrified, so insulted, that she hid in a cave. She blocked the entrance with a boulder, and the sun vanished from the world. Darkness. Eternal darkness. The gods panicked. They tried everything to coax her out. Nothing worked, until they threw a party. A wild, raucous, drunken celebration outside the cave. The goddess Yuzum danced, stripping off her clothes, and the gods roared with laughter. Amaterasu, curious, peeked out. The gods held up a mirror. She saw her own radiant reflection, and while she was distracted, they pulled her from the cave and sealed it behind her. Light returned, and Susanoo was banished. But here is the strange part. Susanoo is not a villain. Not exactly. After his banishment, he descended to the earthly realm. He rescued a maiden named Kuchisake-onna from the 8-headed dragon Yamata Noroki. He got her drunk on sake, cut off all 8 heads, and pulled a legendary sword from the dragon's tail. That sword became one of the 3 sacred treasures of Japan, Kusanagi no Tsurugi, the grass-cutting sword. Susanoo gave the sword to Amaterasu as a peace offering. He married Kuchisake-onna. He became a protector god, a guardian of humanity, a hero. But he never stopped being the god of storms. He never stopped being chaos. Because the most terrifying gods are not evil. They are wild. They are untamed. They are the storm inside all of us. And Susanoo was the greatest storm Japan ever knew. 10 beings. 10 nightmares from the land of the rising sun. Shuten-doji, the demon king, whose severed head still whispers in the darkness. The Kappa, the polite child drowner, hiding in plain sight beneath calm water. The Onryo, the vengeful ghost, proof that human suffering can create eternal horror. Yamayuba, the mountain witch, the darkness behind a friendly smile. Joragumo, the spider woman, beautiful and patient and always hungry. Gashitakuro, the giant skeleton, made of the forgotten dead. Hashiheim, the demon of jealousy, burning with rage centuries after her body turned to dust. Makashi, the corpse eater, consuming not just flesh, but memory itself. Kuchisake-onna, the slit-mouthed woman, proving that new demons are born every generation. And Susanoo, the storm god, chaos incarnate, the wild heart of Japan itself. The Japanese understood something profound. They understood that the line between God and demon is thin, that the same being can destroy and protect, that beauty and horror are not opposites, but twins. Next time you walk alone at night, next time you hear a sound you cannot explain, next time you feel eyes on your back, remember, the gods and demons of Japan are still here, and they are watching.